All right, boys and girls, it's time to get back on the stupid truck. But in order to do that, I got to catch you up on what we've done since the last video of the stupid truck, which means we got to go all the way back to March of last year. Now, I've come up with 2 or 3 big projects I really want to do, but we cannot even think about starting those projects until some major progress is made on the stupid truck. Now, moving forward on this channel, I'm thinking I need to ditch the whole schedule thing because I don't really, I'm not consistent. I'm just not. Life gets in the way for me on a regular basis. So what we're going to do now is every single time I get some work done, a day or two of work, I'm going to try to get it edited up and just put out there. So we'll see how that works. But that means that if I don't work on it, then there's nothing to put out. And if I do work on it, you'll see it quicker than this, because honestly, I started today's video long before Mini Nats last year. And we're moving up on Mini Nats now, and here's the video. So, anyway, hope everybody is getting through the winter safely, because I'm struggling. I am struggling. Now, I recorded about 18 hours of me sitting and thinking and rambling and talking to you guys, bouncing ideas off of you like you were going to be able to help me at that moment. And we're going to cut a lot of that video out of this. All right, so in our last video, we got the exhaust to the point that it's at right now, which is that. Now, these joints on the muffler, both ends, both sides, are completely welded up and done. This joint here is only welded on the top, needs to be welded from the bottom, along with both ends of the coupling here and the spot over here. And I told you guys we were going to do that later, and here we are. We also need to weld our bung holes in place for our O2 sensors. And the easiest way to do all of that is to go ahead, take this apart, slap it on the table, flip it over, and finish that welding up. However, I told you guys that I was originally going to trim this upper control arm so that we didn't have to beat that exhaust manifold any more than we already have. But this spot right here cannot be trimmed from the control arm because, well, you got your joint right there. So your mount point right there. So we're gonna have to do something to try to flex that up. I'm thinking we're gonna do basically the same thing we did here in the last video. So we'll cut this about 3/4 of the way through, and we'll do the same thing over there. Pick that up, tack it back together, and then mark our spots here and over there and do the same thing. We'll have to do that off the vehicle though. Before we take all of this apart, we need to act like Sheldon Cooper and mark the spot that our bung hole is going to rest in. And I'm thinking right here. Now, we've got to be able to remove our O2 sensor completely, and you don't want it to be in the hit the frame on the way out. So I don't know, back here might be better. So we'll put this one here on this side, and in the middle of that joint is going to be about the same spot on that side. So or the middle of the coupling, the bell housing there. So let's see what we come up with. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, I have been very apprehensive about making this cutting this header, because whatever happens, I gotta fix it. When it's all said and done, I don't have the money to buy another header. You know what, we ain't even gotta worry about that one, because we're gonna end up cutting them both at the same time. Probably. Of course, it might be better to do it back out here. Now, the only problem I see with bending these upward, like we did right there, is the fact that the reason that this is designed like that is because steering column runs right down through here. So I don't want to bring that up and it get in the way of the steering column, but that's not a today problem. Right now, this is a today problem. So let's take care of today's problem, then we'll deal with those other problems later in life, if they actually become a problem. Getting old. Because of the way that all of this is laid out, I'm going to cut this further back this direction. Matter of fact, let's give y'all a better view, just in case the coroner needs to know what happened. I'm really hoping I haven't just messed this whole situation up. It's still really tough to move. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to slice that a little deeper. I'm also thinking that's a lot thicker than I thought it was. Daggum. Wow. Have to cut that some more over there. Have to cut that deeper somehow. Of course, I know how. I'm pretty good at cutting. Of course, now that I said that, watch me jack it all up. Alright, for those of you that didn't catch what I did here, I cut it one time, then I cut it another time, just to the side, try to make sort of a pie cut. I realized that that was going the wrong angle right here, so I made the difference right here. I'll probably end up having to go a little further on this end. Over here, I think my issue is between these two pipes. I was trying not to cut these two pipes like this because it's going to be hard to weld that back up with the limited space. But the reason I made my cut further back this way instead of up here where I originally marked it was because you can see that these two create an additional space. I couldn't bring it all the way out here, because that would defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do and still allow the steering shaft to go through. So, I don't know. I'll keep cutting. We'll see what we come up with. There we go. End up having to cut that whole thing off. Problems on this end of it. Well, we're definitely getting closer. This might have been a bad idea. But that's twisting around. I don't know. That might be good enough. All right, so where we stand at the moment, my concerns are the only reason we're moving this one here. Hold on. Wrong direction. The only reason we're moving this pipe here is so that we can get it out of the way of this pipe so that we can lift it. So we're gonna have to cut that. We had to cut this one on top, this one on the top, so that there was, well, same pipe, but we were trying not to have to fill in a whole bunch of metal with weld. On the bottom, we're gonna do it backwards because, well, can't cut that without just cutting this off, and we don't want to do that. So over here we can do it from the top, which we're obviously doing, but we're gonna do it from the bottom here. Now, all that being said, the process, because I cut this at an angle, it's twisting and rolling, which is creating that situation. So that's not good. It would have been better to come straight across, but keep in mind, if we came straight across, then we would probably not be able to cut this as far back and get any type of decent results out of it, which was the goal there. So, I don't know. I'll keep playing with it, but right now it's time to go to work. Look, I've been working on this a little bit each day, and the reason is, every time I start working on it, I get so frustrated I gotta walk away from it, simply because I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for. At the way that it sits right now, if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm not gonna end up with what I'm looking for, and it might not even work anyway. The bottom line is that this pipe is twisting because of the fact that I cut the bottom side of that pipe at an angle and then the top side at a 90-degree angle, or you know what I mean. And every time this pisses me off, I walk away from it, and honestly, it affects the rest of my day, and my day doesn't go well. So I'm at a loss. My original concept was lift that pipe up. But in the process, don't do anything that requires cutting it in an area where you can't get your welding gun down in between the pipes in order to weld it back up. And at the moment, I've not done anything that can't be just welded up and leave it like it originally was for the most part, except for the fact that we beat a dent in the bottom of that bottom pipe. But part of me's going, find another solution, which I might end up having to do even after I do this. I don't know. And then on the other hand, I'm thinking, you know what? Cut the thing completely off and just find a way to fix it and make it the way you want it to begin with. You know what? We got a new plan. And this is where we stand at the moment. But before we can put this plate and everything back on the truck, we need to take care of this. So that's what we're going to work on soon. Peace, love, and mini trucks.